Hey guys and girls, if there's any girls that are watching. So today is June 4th, 2020. I really wish that I was out fishing today. My work schedule's been altered. I work a 7 on, 7 off shift, so I really love the 7 days off. But the weather is terrible. It's been raining for a couple days. Tomorrow I think it's supposed to be nice. It's supposed to rain for another 3 or 4 days after that. So, no fishing for me. I'm sure there's some hardcore fishermen that are out in this weather, but not me. Anyways, so what the videos that you guys have seen so far on the channel, most of them have been fairly recent, but every once in a while I'll throw out a hunt from the past. For instance, my 2017 whitetail hunt that I posted, that was one of the first videos that I put on the channel. Today, I'm going to edit my whitetail hunt from 2018. So, generally for me, going into every season, I have 1 or 2 deer picked out. Those are my target bucks. I know that I'm going to spend however many days I have. Most of the times, it's usually a couple weeks that I take off in November. I dedicate all my time on pursuing those 1 or 2 bucks. Don't hunt very many areas. We got 1 or 2 farms that we generally spend the most of our time on. We do hunt some crown land from time to time, but I don't like to move around very much. So going into 2018, I did have a target buck picked out. We got trail camera pictures of this buck in 2017. He just kind of appeared out of nowhere. And then in 2018, was hoping to get pictures of him, but didn't really get anything until I think it was the first week in November. He showed up on a scrape, and when I saw those pictures, I just knew that this was a deer. If he happened to walk across in front of me, I was going to take him. He's a big buck. Probably the one I was guessing at that time about 170 inches, something like that. So definitely a deer that he's on my radar. He's on the hit list, and that's the deer that I'm going to spend the majority of my time hunting. So, like I said, typically I have a couple weeks each November to hunt. 2018 was no different. I had 2 weeks off, but Blake, my youngest son, plays hockey, and I actually coach his hockey team. So trying to fit hunting in with hockey practices and hockey games on the weekends, those 2 weeks quickly dissolve into 8, 9, or 10 days, sometimes less. So when I went into the season, I knew that I was going to be constricted to only a few days, and I did get out in the first couple weeks, a couple days, just for a few hours. It wasn't until November 17th that I had my first opportunity to go out and hunt from dark to dark, and that's what I like doing. We'll pick a spot, we'll get in there before legal shooting light in the morning, hunt all day, sit all day, and then at dark we'll leave usually hunting blinds. We'll leave the blind and head out. So November 17th, just to kind of set the scene for you guys. November 17th, this is my first full day of hunting. I get out there really early and get set up, and it's about an hour into the hunt, and the first buck crosses a cut line in front of me. So the day's off to a pretty good start. Again, I'm sitting in a spot where I'm not really expecting to see a lot of deer. So fairly early in the morning, I see my first buck. About an hour after that, I see another buck. He comes down the line straight away from me, and he starts working a scrape right on the cut line. There's a big spruce tree and a nice licking branch coming off that spruce tree, and they have a scrape right underneath that branch, and he works it, and he puts on a bit of a show for me there. So after that deer was done at the scrape, he kind of works his way down the cut line. He goes off to the left of the cut line, and then he comes back onto the cut line. He works his way down almost halfway to my blind. Actually, I think he was over halfway to my blind, and then turned around and just kind of went back the way he had come, and he went off the same way as that first buck did. So with the first buck was definitely kind of cruising. It looked like he was on a bit of a mission. Small buck, but those bucks are still out cruising, looking for does. The second buck, with him working the scrape and hanging around and then kind of taking off, following pretty much in the same steps as that first buck, I had a feeling that maybe there might be a doe in the area that might be coming into estrus. Again, it's November 17th. We're right, into that time period where the rut is getting ready to kick into high gear. So I just got the feeling that, maybe there was a doe around, and hopefully that might, bring on, some more action, especially big buck action. That's what we're always. So sure enough, about an hour after I saw that second buck, again, straight away, coming straight down the cut line towards me, a doe appears, and she kind of makes her way down the cut line towards me, and then in behind her, I see what I think is the second buck. He's just a basket rack 4x4, looks again like the same buck. So the doe kind of works her way down towards me, and she cuts off to the left. And the buck is coming down behind her, and so I'm watching the buck because I'm hoping that maybe there's another buck in behind this first buck, and out of nowhere the doe comes back racing across the cut line to the right, followed by another little buck, and this is now a third buck. So there's deer. For sure, there's 3 bucks, and it appears that they're all in that area because of this doe. So all of those deer, they kind of make their way off to the right, and they're gone. I'm not sure how far they went back in there, if they went and bedded down, or those bucks kept chasing that doe. I'm not sure what happened, but I'm sitting there and I'm thinking it's just a matter of time. It's only mid-morning. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning. For sure with the action that I'm getting here, it's only a matter of time before a big buck comes cruising through here. Well, I sit there and I don't see another deer all afternoon, and I'm sitting there and I'm just stunned. I'm thinking this is a sure thing. I mean, you got this kind of there's deer running, there's bucks chasing the doe. It's only a matter of time before something bigger comes along to pick that doe away from those small bucks. It just didn't happen. So the day rolls on, no deer in the afternoon. The bush got pretty quiet, and it was about half an hour, maybe about 40 minutes before dark, and I can hear real fast, heavy steps in behind me, off to my left a little bit. And I can hear it crunching through the snow, and it sounded, and to me, if you hunted deer long enough, you know when you hear a mature deer coming, especially during the rut. When those deer during the rut, they're on a mission, and a big mature deer that's looking for a doe, or he's on a mission, he's going somewhere. He just sounds different than a smaller buck or an immature buck when they're walking through the bush. So I hear these footsteps off to kind of behind me, off to the left, and I'm kind of looking out the window, and by the time I realize, it looks like a mature buck, I decided to click on the camera. So that deer kind of takes off and goes up the hill, and I think he's gone. But like, he was gone, but I wasn't too upset because I didn't really get a good look at it. I was so busy running the camera and trying to get footage that I wasn't able to for sure tell what kind of a deer he was. And so when he kind of disappeared and I finished my little commentary there on the camera, I no sooner had panned the camera back to the cut line and shut the camera off when I see a deer coming back through the trees. And at this point, I mean, it's coming right from where he was, so I just assume that it's the same deer. And, well, I'll let you guys watch the footage, but it was the same deer, and pretty happy that I still had my gun on my lap and had the camera back panned on the cut line.
That
That. I don't know what deer that is. I think it's general. I hope it's general. It happened so fast. Man alive. I hope I hit him. That. I had to stop him twice. That. It's a problem with a line like this. It's so narrow and things happen so fast. Just take a look at the footage. Well, running out of daylight. Normally like to give them half an hour or so, but I looked at the footage. It looks good. I'm pretty sure it's general, which I am super, super pumped about. Hopefully it didn't go too far. Oh, I think I see him. Oh yeah. He's down. Oh man. There he is. That's general. He's not a huge frame deer, but he is heavy and he's got lots of points. There he is. That is general. He's a mainframe 6x6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then he's got a kicker here, and then he broke 2 kickers off of this side, which is too bad. But what an awesome deer. I'll tell you what, today is really the first full day I've had to hunt deer this November. And usually for me, it is a long grinding journey for me to get my deer every year. Last year it took 8 days of sitting. The 2 previous years before that I didn't shoot a deer. The year before that was well over a week. So to get one on really the first day that I've had to hunt is amazing for me, and I am super happy. What a deer. Look how heavy he is. Like he's got mass. What a deer. So that's my 2018 whitetail hunt. Pretty successful. Again, for me, to go out there and on my first full day of hunting to get a buck, that was pretty rare for me. Just to put into perspective, I was hunting a specific buck this past year, so the fall of 2019. I sat for 23 days straight, and I did not get my buck. So, that's one extreme to another. Going out one day and getting the buck, which up until that point had never happened, to 2019 where I hunt 23 days straight and don't don't even shoot a deer. So it's that's the way it goes. So I felt pretty fortunate. I was, obviously you can tell I was pretty happy. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and there'll be more to come.